Today I'm going to show some albums that I have left on vinyl from 1972. Most of my albums have turned to CDs, so I'm going to do a whole series on CDs because a lot of my favorite albums have already been converted, and these are the ones I kept on vinyl. So these aren't in any particular order, they're just going to come up as I show them, I guess. First up I got Long John Silver by Jefferson Airplane. This is their last album if you're not including another one they did in the 80s, which I don't. So this, you could make a box out of it, a little stash box. Had instructions there, and underneath the album, the cigar, it was supposed to be like a cigar box, but underneath the album you had a 9, it says right here on the front, 9 fine blends of fragrant weed. And when you open the box up and get under the album, you can smell it. And I don't think it's that bad an album. A lot of people knock it, but I really don't think it's that bad an album. Next up I got another offshoot of the Jefferson Airplane, Hot Tuna. This is my favorite Hot Tuna album. And this has got some great live shots in it. Oh, my freaking lights all over the place. And at the back, they're sitting in front of an old car. I like that picture. It's kind of laid back and cool, just like Hot Tuna is. Next up, can't do a year until, I think this is pretty well the last really good album by the Moody Blues. So this is called Seventh Sojourn, and it's got another one of those gatefold things and a great cover shot. I love the cover. I love the cover. Great cover. And that's, of course, the Moody Blues. And like I've said before, you couldn't go to a party in the late 60s, early 70s without hearing the Moody Blues. Next up, my adventures into Prague. This is about as far as I went with Emerson, Lake and Palmer, but I do like the first 3 albums. And it's another one with a really psychedelic-y kind of inside cover. This is, I don't know if they coined the word Prague at this time, but I liked it. It was different. I only got so far with Prague, as they call it, but I've rediscovered it lately. And then, of course, that leads right into Fragile by Yes, and that has a Roger Dean cover, of course. And it's another fold-out. The days, those were the days, my friend, when they had lots of gatefolds, great artwork. And you could sit and stare at that for hours if you were in the right frame of mind. Next up I got, I've showed this before. It's got the plastic on. I'm not going to open it up again. Thick as a brick. This is an original. Got it the day it came out. So it's got the whole newspaper and the whole bit on it. Lots of good reading on there. Some of the greatest newspaper clippings you're ever going to read anywhere. And then Harvest. Can't do without a Harvest album. And they're in the barn. Neil Young in the barn. Oh, it's got lyrics in it too. Oh, I didn't know I had lyrics. It's an original copy too, so it's got kind of a fisheye view in there. Yeah, on the ranch. On the ranch again. Next up, another one you can't really do without from 1972 is Exile on Main Street. I mean, this is a double album, which every song is a good song as far as I'm concerned. It took a while to sort of get every song into it. And it's got all the other junk in it, postcards and all that stuff. But that's a double album too. Next up, we got some Ike and Tina Turner. And this is when they were still producing music together from 1972. So this is kind of a rock and roll-y album. I mean, look at the cover. Dance the night away, as they say. Ooh, poetry. And I got a John Lee Hooker album. Oh, it's got plastic on. Usually I take them off. John Lee Hooker album from 1972 called No Dancin'. No Dancin'. Thought it was a gatefold. Just got sort of a semi-ripped cover. And that's John Lee Hooker. Can't do without a John Lee Hooker album either. And last but not least, one of my favorite country rock groups of all time is the New Riders of the Purple Sage. I love these guys right from the beginning. This is called Gypsy Cowboy. And I love the back shot too. I love when they photograph band members and they're like in the West, the Old West. And you can hear them talking like that too. Great music. Great music. If you haven't listened to New Riders of the Purple Sage, seek them out. Well worth the listen. Spencer Dryden, ex-drummer of the Jefferson Airplane. So, that's all I got left from 1972 on vinyl. So, 1973 it's going to even get a little more sparser, but I'm going to do a whole CD thing because pretty well most of my collection has been turned into these little mini-me's. The wind's blowing outside. It's a little windy here in Nova Scotia today, but it's just a typical day. So long.